Alright, welcome to another episode of Soto Desperado Plays Ark Survival Ascended. Just working on the eggs. I think... It's the wrong one. Keep putting it in the wrong place. I'm just going to drop these real quick. I think we're on Breeding Bonanza right now, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to drop a few eggs here. Here and there. See if I can. See, you can tell. Oh, see how fast it's going? Yeah, we're on Breeding Bonanza right now. Anyway, I just started to record. Probably do another recording, a small recording. I don't know if you guys are seeing it. I'm trying to pick a video that doesn't suck. Alright.
I got a question.
This is Anton Daniels. Woman says, I have 10 kids by multiple fathers. Single mother admits dating men in jail. Broken.
So, I posted that I am a 44-year-old mother of 10. And I said their ages.
Wow.
What does it matter how many babies' fathers I have?
What does it matter?
What does that mean? I'm glad I didn't stick with one, because if I had one up baby daddy, then that means all my kids would have been up. And it's the reason why I have different, because when they start up, they gotta go. Or if they happen to go to jail, I'm not gonna sit there and wait. I have to do. If they were good to me, then yes, I might have waited. But other than that, no. If they was out cheating before they went to jail, then that's where they needed to be at, and that was my cue to get away. Other than that, I take care of my kids. I've been there. They know their dads. I have paperwork on all of them. And it still doesn't matter at the end of the day how many baby daddies I have. As long as, I didn't give my children up for adoption. I didn't make no family members keep them. Or none of that.
Hey, they be serious about this. This is the worst part about this whole conversation. Is that, where we should be saying, hey, they got a skit going. Or they trolling. They don't. They really are serious, and they believe that they're doing the right thing and having 10 children by multiple different fathers. And then I don't see anybody holding them accountable inside of their comments when y'all send me these videos to react to. And don't worry, I always like to make sure I link back to the content creator in order to give credit. But in 2025, this is what we still dealing with, is women that's saying that, or justifying having 10 children. Hold on, let's stop for a minute. Let's pause, y'all. Do you know how expensive and hard it is? Most of y'all that's watching this, because I understand my demographics, you know what it's like. You know how difficult it is, how expensive it is to give a child the life that they deserve. When I hear grown-ups say stuff like, I deserve a good man, or what they think that they deserve, I disagree with it wholeheartedly. I have conversations on panels about it, all of that. I don't believe that anybody that's an adult deserves anything. You get what you earn. On the flip side, children are different. Soft spot in my heart. And the reason that is because they didn't ask to be here. You see what I'm saying? And so it's your job as a parent to put them in the greatest position possible to succeed. One of the things that is that you have to make sure that you're financially responsible. There's no way that you can tell me that in the 2024 fives and up, that it's responsible to have 10 children out of wedlock. It's impossible. Because number one, I know, and I really do get it. I mean, my daughter, let me say this, and I've said this before, so this is nothing new for you guys, but I want to remind you, because the context matters. And I always like to relate it back to myself and not just speak on the subject, because this type of stuff is personal to me. my daughter, when we had our daughter, I was very careful because it was two things that I was factoring in, right? I was open to the possibility of not having children at all. And the number one reason for that was that I didn't want to bring a kid into this ugly world. I knew that the world was just going to get worse as time progressed. And, so it had to be a very intentional thing. Most of these people that's out here having children, they just out here winging it. They having unprotected sex. They getting pregnant. A lot of them use Planned Parenthood to mitigate the pregnancy and all of that type of stuff. We had that conversation during this past election season. But I was very intentional. And so I decided that if I am going to have one, I'm going to have one. And I'm going to put every single thing that I can into that child because they didn't ask to be here. And more importantly, they deserve the best possible, the greatest effort that you can give. For me, it elevated us as parents, as a man, and it motivated me even to this day. My daughter's about to turn 17, and it motivated me even to this day to give her the learned lessons and allow for her to fail in controlled environments while at the same time operating with a level of privilege. And so that's not a knock. I know a lot of people like to use that as a knock. Oh, man, no, that's not a knock. Y'all basically she's passing on generational curses to her children that will then be reciprocated. And then they breed these monsters and they want credit for being parents. But in reality, you're basically breeding a generational curse. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the cost of what it takes to be a parent. It's very, very, very expensive. If you want to put them in good schools, which even if you don't put them in private school, you still have to move to certain neighborhoods so that you can then, and I don't know how it works in y'all cities or in y'all states or in y'all counties, but you want to, it costs to live in certain neighborhoods that allow for your child to be able to grow and be in certain schools. If you want them to, succeed and get the real life experiences or fail in controlled environments, putting them in sports or, my daughter does Taekwondo, for example, and the traveling costs and the equipment costs and the classes and the coaching and all of that stuff, it's very expensive to clothe a child, to feed a child, all of that stuff. Without government assistance, is very expensive. So you have to be very intentional about the people that you surround yourself with. And she has two parents, which we already know the data and the statistics behind. Having a two-parent household makes you much more likely to be successful, much less likely to go to jail, much less likely to need therapy and be dependent or have dependency issues and all of this stuff. So when I see a woman like this, and I see women like this all the time, and occasionally I'll select something out of the email box, and thank you guys for continuing to send me this content of these people saying this wild stuff. It breaks my heart, not for the person, because I think that the person is making a grave, bad decision, and they very much matter of fact in their demeanor, and they don't really care. And then they're going to depend on the government, or they, you know what I'm saying? Or they always, in most instances, have some level of government assistance. And they say, they got they baby daddies is in prison, and these are the type of men that they continue to deal with, and say, why do people care? Well, in most instances, it's other people's tax dollars that support your lifestyle and all of this stuff. So, I think that it's very, very irresponsible. I'm just going to keep it G. I think it's irresponsible. I think it's evil. And a lot of people and a lot of these women are straight up demons in the way that they do things, in the way that they raise their children.
It's the base.
And it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. And then they're going to try to say tax the rich or tax people that make more money or that's actually striving to be better and do better for their children, to give it to other people that's not best for their children. And the daddies is in prison. And so that's why I say, they always say, hold the men accountable. You can fix 99% of men, and 1% of men can populate the majority of women, and they going to still choose all to be with the worst of society. It's bad. It's disrespectful. And the good guys, they get a bad reputation for doing things the right way because we highlight the negativity, and we say that this is the way that we need to operate within a culture. The culture is trash. These women are trash. The culture is trash. I just have to tell it like it is. There's no ifs, ands, or in-betweens. There's no mincing words. It's no none of that. The culture is absolutely trash, and this is the example of it. And it's unfortunate. And the children are the ones that's going to suffer for the sins of their parents. The children are the ones that's going to. Most of these people don't even know what it means to be in a good household. They so used to passing down generational trauma that they don't even know what it means to be in a loving household. All they know and all they raised to believe is this is what normal looks like. And then you pass down the same behaviors into the next generation and into your kids. And then we don't want to take responsibility that we raising a bunch of demons. It's impossible for these kids to possibly have the best life possible with the circumstances that she's presenting to us right now.
It's not my problem.
Literally impossible.
It's not my
unfortunate,
problem.
man. But then they'll call me the bad guy for calling it out. And that's cool. I'll be the bad guy, but we're going to just have a real conversation going forward because I'm tired, man. Listen, you can do whatever it is that you want to do for yourself. But then when your kid grow up to steal my kids' wheels and hubcaps and they always want to get a Charger and a Challenger and then be... Listen, let me not go in. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Again, I always like to give credit to the content creators regardless of whether I agree with them or not. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Phenomenal stuff. Got a new video dropping for y'all this weekend. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off of life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later.
Yee-hoo. You don't tell me nothing about my baby daddy. It's my baby daddy. My baby daddy this. My baby daddy that. Who do you think you are talking to me like this? Man. My baby daddy. You know, if Anton ever listens to this, hey, Anton, you talk about some sensitive shit, man. Most people that I know, if you talk to them about that in their face, you know, to their face, they go up and slap the shit out of you. It doesn't matter what color you are. They don't want to be told shit. People don't want to be contradicted. As far as they're concerned, all their actions are justified. It's like, you know, like the governors that let their city burn, you know, like the, you know, they let the homelessness thing go out of whack, you know, they're catering to immigrants that had no business being here, you know, that sort of thing. You know, as far as they're concerned, they're always justified correct. And that's just the way people are in general. They don't really learn and they don't really care that much at all. They just are justified in their actions as far as they're concerned. You know, she went out and she had sex with all those men because she wanted a party. And she got party favors called children, you know, left over. And she doesn't care because she knows that she could get government assistance to pay for all those babies. And so I'm over here working a job, unable to have relationships with women, unable to make enough money to support barely myself. And they're over there fucking like rabbits, making 100 babies. And Mexicans do it, Asians do it. There are white people that do this shit in certain areas of the country. Okay, so that's the way it is. Welcome to the future. I got 10 baby daddies. Yeah, I feel like singing today. Sorry. Let's see, who is this? Former Baltimore mayor.
Rawlings-Blake is being sued by an Indiana-based bank over her alleged failure to repay a $2 million commercial loan. Fox 45's Keith Daniels joins us now with a closer look at that lawsuit. Keith, what are you learning?
Well, Kai and Maxine, since serving as mayor, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake has served in many roles, from heading the U.S. Conference of Mayors to spokeswoman for rapper Travis Scott. And tonight, we've learned she's now a defendant in a U.S. District Court case. It's been some time since former Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake has been out front, the top newsmaker, in the city.
This spike in crime that we're seeing, this spike in homicide, while it's very personal to us, this is a national trend.
But now, news of a lawsuit filed Wednesday by an Indiana-based bank against Rawlings-Blake. The former mayor sued over a $2 million business loan. The bank seeking repayment. According to the lawsuit, initial monthly payments of $28,000 were made, but stopped in May 2023. The loan defaulting for non-payment in July. According to court papers obtained by Fox 45 News, Old National Bank, which merged with Capstar Bank in April last year, has filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for Maryland for an outstanding loan balance, plus interest and late fees. The total over $2 million.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
So the principal is almost $2 million. The interest is $145,000, and the late fees up to this point is 10 bands. Before we even get into this mayor, right? Because let me deep dive into her for a second. So it looks like she was the 50th mayor of Baltimore. Nothing came of that because she was a Democrat, and Baltimore is still in shambles. Second woman to hold the office. She also served as a secretary of the Democratic National Committee and as president of the United States Conference of Mayors. 54 years old. Looks like she's a pretty decent looking girl. Pretty girl. But she's made her way around. But she's obviously having financial troubles. But the first thing that pops up in my mind is I think that it's a travesty and that we allow for people to be able to run these cities that don't have any kind of business acumen. And I think that they need to prove themselves from a business perspective, because part of running a city, a major part of running a city, as we see from Chicago, as we see from Karen Bass over in Los Angeles, as we see from Gavin Newsom as the governor of California, a major part of the city is being able to be financially responsible and sound with how it is that you go about doing business, right? And if you are not a good business person, if you can't even manage your finances effectively, then why should you be a public servant that oversees taxpayer dollars? But we'll get there. That's a lot of money. And I know that the people, because I'm about to play the video game, but we sit here and act like business loans are not loans. We act like more money needs to go into the communities, but that doesn't mean that you're actually a good business person that should qualify for that type of financing. But like I said, we'll get there.
$1 money provided to Gulf Coast Technology Corporation, with Rawlings-Blake signing to guarantee that the money would be repaid by her if the borrower failed to repay the loan. Jeremy Eldridge.
My initial reaction is that the former mayor obviously is in economic distress.
A longtime political observer and defense attorney not associated with this case weighs in on the matter, including a former city mayor's connection to the lawsuit.
The only reason that the public should be paying attention to the fact that former Mayor Rawlings-Blake borrowed this money and was unable to pay it back is because the $2 million sum of money is essentially taxpayer money that is being funneled to small businesses for them to thrive. And in this case, they didn't.
So hold on, let me back that up. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the full context, because I don't have the lawsuit in front of me. So we're depending on the news and then this correspondent or whoever this person is to give us the details. I just want to make sure that we all on the same page.
Mayor's connection to the lawsuit.
The only reason that the public should be paying attention to the fact that former Mayor Rawlings-Blake borrowed this money and was unable to pay it back is because the $2 million sum of money is essentially taxpayer money that is being funneled to small businesses for them to thrive. And in this case, they didn't.
Loan documents show Rawlings-Blake is named as president of Buy MBE, which, according to the company's website, is a minority-owned company that helps local and mid-sized businesses connect with Fortune 500 buyers.
So they're a middleman. So why do they need a $2 million loan to connect small and local minority-owned businesses with Fortune 500 companies. We'll get there.
In a statement to Fox 45 News, Rawlings-Blake, who served as Baltimore's mayor from 2010 to 2016, said she has worked tirelessly to support small businesses and economic growth. Going on to say, as part of that commitment, I personally guaranteed a loan for a small business I believed would thrive and create local opportunities. Fortunately, like many businesses, this one has faced significant challenges, and I am now addressing my financial obligations related to this situation.
Well, I guess if you personally guaranteed it, then that means that you personally have to pay it back. And see, banks want their guarantees. They want their money. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to get it by any means necessary. And a lot of times, that is the way in which they make their money, by you paying it back with interest. And that's how they then extend funds. And so when you see banks go under on a regular basis, because people don't know it because they only pay attention to the major banks, but banks go under all the time. Every single year, there are a ton of banks that close because they make bad loans or they extend bad lines of credit to people that are substandard borrowers that can't pay it back, and then they take funds, and then ultimately those banks get swallowed up, or they have to sell themselves or go bankrupt. But usually they have to sell themselves over into another bank in order to remain solvent. And that's why you have a personal guarantee, a FDIC insurance, that your funds will be guaranteed, because that's what gives us the faith in the banking system. Not that banks are great at lending or identifying great borrowers, but it's because we have to have faith in the system in order for it not to completely collapse.
I don't think that Stephanie Rawlings-Blake borrowing money and being unable to pay it back is really a problem for anyone but herself. It's a shame that it's taxpayer money, but there's no reason to believe that she was engaged in any fraud, theft, or any criminal act.
I'm trying to figure out where the tie is to the taxpayer money, though. Maybe I'm slow. Y'all let me know in the chat, where's the tie to the taxpayer money part? Because if it was borrowed from a bank, but then she's unable to pay it back, and the bank is now suing her as a personal guarantor of that loan, I'm trying to figure out where it then extends over to taxpayer money. But maybe I'm a little off. Maybe I missed a detail or something.
Activity. This really is a civil matter.
Well, we did reach out to Rosenberg, Martin, and Greenberg, the Baltimore law firm that's representing Old National Bank. For now, they say
Old National Bank.
They have no comment.
I used to work for
in the
them
studio. Keith Daniels, Fox 45.
Yeah, just sounds like another chick that's broke, to be honest with you.
Bank.
I mean, she's pretty. She's been around. I'm not even sure if she's broke. Just because you're being sued and just because you have an inability or you choose not to pay doesn't necessarily mean that extends over into you being personally broke. But it doesn't mean that you have great business acumen either. And that's why I believe in putting your own money up. If you really believe in something, I don't think that you need to go into a bank in order to do so. I think that, and this is just my personal philosophy, it doesn't mean that it's 100% right in every situation, and it doesn't mean that you can't be successful in it. I believe that you then get loans if you already have a proven business concept, but you have capacity issues, meaning that you're limited by the amount of money that you can make, but you already have proven that you're making money, and so you need to maybe extend that line of credit so that you can grow more successfully because you have capacity issues, versus you need to start up a business because you don't know whether or not that's going to be successful in the first place. But y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.
It's so stupid. Like, I personally don't care if somebody gets sued, but if they did it with taxpayer money, that's a problem. That is a kind of corruption, in my opinion. Says, I want to save Joy Taylor. Willie D. Simps throws feminist ad. Hold on, I don't know what that is, but let's listen.
Jason Whitlock has stuck his big fat foot in his big fat mouth again. What did he say this time? Well, regarding the Fox Sports 1 debacle involving Joy Taylor and a lawsuit filed against her by her hairstylist, Jason said that he stayed away from Joy because of her big racks that she showed off constantly. He said, man, I know myself, so, I know what I'm capable of. Really? So you really think
I got it right there.
You had a chance?
I got it right there.
Perhaps if you had some real paper, like if you was papered up, if you was like the man with the clout, like if you was in Charles Dixon's position, perhaps, Allow me to step in as Joy's counsel and respond to this statement by Jason Whitlock.
When did the Simp Olympics start taking place? Jesus Christ. Dog, you would think that she was giving everybody box at the same time. This is what's wrong with society today, is a lot of these OGs, these quote unquote OGs, they have sold out the culture. They've sold out society, and these are the same guys that was on some happy wife, happy life type of stuff. And so what happened was they decided that they wanted to continue to simp, and I didn't even know that Willie D, for example, spoke on men's issues with regards to this type of content. I didn't even know that he had inserted himself into that. You know what I'm saying? The last time that I was aware of what Willie D was doing was when he was piggybacking off of Shannon Sharp in order to continue to have a conversation about Cat Williams last year. And I don't know
Here's
if
another one.
They just don't have nothing else to talk about or what's going on. But this level of simpery is amazing to me. First and foremost, nobody needs you to step in for her. She got enough dudes that she's sleeping her way up to the top. And I'm not really sure if she asked you to be her counsel or not, but that's amazing. So him, Cam Newton, and all of these other dudes that's simping for box because they didn't give the same level of grace to any of these other guys that was being accused of stuff. And it's so funny because every single day you see guys getting released for the Innocence Project, but they don't have nothing to speak on with regard to that. You see all of these guys getting accused of stuff, and it's guilty until proven innocent in the court of public opinion, but they don't have nothing to do with that. Aside from the fact, because the most egregious part of these accusations come from the fact that she is trying to, or she allegedly was putting herself in a position to Me Too the person that she was using to get to the top. And he's also ignoring the fact that Jason Whitlock emphasized that she did a read on his show that he was about to produce, or he was about to be a part of, that he had, say so in who is going to be on that show. And he denied that she could be on there, also speaks volumes. But let me say this, right? It's two main things before we get into this whole conversation, because he's already showed how much of a simp that he is. And I don't have no respect for these older guys. I don't care what albums they drop. I don't care how many views they got. I don't care what their subscribers are. It's the same thing across the board. We're going to be objective across the board, and we're going to have a conversation based off of what they say, not, what we think about them personally, because I don't do ad hominem attacks. But a couple different things that we want to have here, right? Number one, their ability to completely ignore the details of the lawsuit is amazing, and then go on to attack ad hominem attacks and then dick shame as though Dirty Mackin is going to get them any further is amazing to me, right? These are the type of guys that you don't want to listen to with regard to any of the stuff that they talk about with relationships, marriage, or any of that type of stuff. Because these are the simps and these are the ones that sold y'all short and told y'all the happy wife, happy life, and can't wait to try to pedestalize themselves by dirty macking and trying to dick police somebody else. The second point that we want to make is anytime a guy says stuff like, it would be different if you papered up, shows you that they were suckers. And just because they got visibility and just because they may have a couple dollars does not mean that they not lames and they not suckers with visibility, with clout, and with money. Because the fact of the matter is, if you don't think that somebody else busted down that didn't necessarily have to be in a position of power, that wasn't all of this, that didn't get all of that, and wasn't all, you know what I'm saying? It's plenty of dudes that bust down chicks that look like her and better every single day. And y'all the type of dudes that feel like y'all got to have clout, you got to have paper, you got to show your money in order to get with them. There's plenty of dudes every single day that get to these chicks and the same thing that you simping for, they busting them down for free. And that's how you get labeled in the phone as food. That's how you get labeled in their phone as a sucker. Every single day. The game is the game, and it don't change no matter who you are and where you come from. The game is the game. And him going on this little rant is just really making him look like more of a simp and a sucker. And they don't really care. There is no shame in the Simp Olympics, guys. This is what I need y'all to understand. There is no shame in the Simp Olympics. And so y'all got to call them out as y'all see them. And the fact that this woman is not being held accountable to the same standards that we hold men and the opportunities that somebody else probably that is much better and much more qualified for the position that she in, but he want to insert himself as her counsel, is wild to me. It's absolutely wild to me. Because I will tell you that it's a strong possibility that a Willie D will never get no box from this type of chick either. Crazy. Look at this guy.
Joy Taylor vehemently denies any attraction whatsoever to Buffalo Butt, a.k.a. the Walrus, a.k.a. Ham Hock Man. It is repulsive.
What is he, clout
to even
chasing?
think that she would ever stoop to such a level. Yeah, you know, she's shown her racks off, but only to those who were deserving. Under no circumstances, under absolute no circumstances, would Joy Taylor ever remotely consider giving Jason Hamhock a shot in him.
All right, so the jokes is lame. They don't land. It's nothing even for us to see here. I don't have to see the whole video. I see the corniness of the dude that be at Thanksgiving dinner simping out for all of the ladies, trying to make sure everybody look bad. I see it, and we don't like to give these type of people any more time than we have to. Y'all see what it is. There's nothing else left for me to say. I said everything that I needed to say. And the fact that he throwing ad hominem attacks is feminine in itself. I don't care, how y'all see him. I don't care what the legend of it is. I don't care about the ghetto boys. None of that stuff mean anything to me. But simping is real. And it's feminine. I'm assuming that you hit it. You got to, the way that you simping. And you need to understand, regardless of how you was raised and where you from, they for everybody. They for everybody. And the fact that you pedestalizing it is one of the reasons why these women feel empowered to do some of the stuff that they're doing, which ultimately leads to the Me Too movement, which ultimately lead to them sleeping their way to the top, which ultimately lead to no changes in the family court system, which also lead to you getting finessed out of your bag and dudes like you, and you sending out the wrong message to these young guys. Whereas I actually don't even agree with every single thing that Jason Whitlock says, but I 100% agree with what he's saying. And the point that he was trying to make wasn't even necessarily that he was interested in sleeping with her or that guys should do it, but he was using it as an example to illustrate that men need to operate with dick discipline, because there's going to be plenty of situations where you can put yourself at a disadvantage from a woman like this that ultimately can and would and probably is, if she didn't get exposed in his lawsuit, Me Tooing a dude. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. And disassociate yourself from the advice from these OGs. They the worst. are the worst in society. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace, man.
All right. That's what happens when you grab the boobies. Now, I did manage to get the mutation 31, 466 to 466, but it's on 2 females. So I brought my standard male down here, and I'll breed them as soon as these guys grow up. Because we're under breeding bonanza, these things will go ahead and grow up pretty quick, maybe in a couple of hours. So I'll come back in a couple of hours to see if they're ready to breed. And let's see, do I have enough? Yeah, I do have enough saddles. So anyway, I just got to get those mutations off off those females and into a male. So I have 2 chances of getting that mutation off. And now's a good time to do it because of the breeding bonanza. I disabled the breeding of the regular one because I already got the mutations I need over here. So I have 2 chances. If I breed any females with the 466 level 31 point mutation, then I'll go ahead and add it and just have them rebreed. That's all you got to do. Breeding bonanza is active, and that's it. I'll try to put all the links for the ones I listened to with Anton Daniels on there, and I think I got all of them. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. This is just a short one. Take care.